you know how to do remote viewing also, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yes.
how you do that? I mean, do you think it's easy for and available for everybody who would like to
Okay.
learn?
So it is simple, but not necessarily easy. And yes, I think it is available for everyone because this is all. These are all human abilities. If you look at the Aboriginal tribes in Australia, they use that ability for their hunting, for meeting, for gathering. You know, we have these abilities in our bodies, in our biology. So I guess the simplest way to make remote viewing understandable to someone who hasn't really gone into that is you calm your mind, you calm your heart, and then you just gently request that you be shown information on the screen of your mind. And you might get images, you might get scenes, but the thing to remember is there's a thing called analytical overlay. And what that really means is, let's say I get the image of a Ferris wheel. You know what Ferris wheel is? Yeah. I get the image of a Ferris wheel. But what that could really mean is showing me that my target is a wheel with spokes in it. And the closest thing that my unconscious mind could get to that to show me is a Ferris wheel. So it's not always about the images you receive. It's more about what the images represent. And all of this is attained easier if you can calm your mind. If your viewers are familiar with brainwave states, we have alpha, beta, theta, gamma, and delta as the brain waves that we can go to. If we can slow our mind down through trained meditation and get to about the theta area, which will then shoot us to the gamma area, which is 145 hertz, if I remember right. Might be wrong, don't quote me. But if we can get to these altered brainwave states, we have access to abilities, not just remote viewing. In order to do a banishment, you have to be in the theta brainwave state. In order to do a psychic healing, in my experience, it flows much better if you get into that state. But cultures have called it different things throughout history. In the past, it's been called the Gnostic trance. In Hawaii, they call it hokalau. But really, it's just slowing down the mind enough to be receptive. My Kung Fu teacher said something very powerful. He said, we are made to receive the resonances of the universe within us. We're made to do it. It's a natural ability, and there are great resources on YouTube, free remote viewing classes. Check out my friend Buddy, our friend Buddy. He is one of the way better than me, way better than me. And he would deny that, but it's true.
Okay. Now, if we make connection now, if we can move now to another way outside of that space, outside of this reality.
Let's go. Let's go.
What about these UFOs and all this? Actually, Dr. Jacques Vallée says that most of the beings who is coming to us, they're coming from another dimension. They're not coming from another space or another planets, universes. What do you think about all this stuff?
So I think that could be partially right or maybe completely right. So they're definitely transdimensional, but we don't yet know their origin. They might be using the transdimensional physics in order to go instantly from one star system to another, or they might just inhabit an entirely different universe, or potentially both. We, like you said, we're outside the realm of our known reality, so why couldn't it be both? We could have different types of beings coming from all over the multiverse to interact with us. But Dr. Stephen Greer put out a really good video called, it was about physics. It was, check out Stephen Greer's work. I'm forgetting the actual name, but it's on his YouTube channel. And
was that acknowledged?
Yeah, Unacknowledged and also Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Those are their main research, but if you go into some of his presentations, he explains it very well as to how in order for any type of instantaneous travel to happen, it's called the crossing point of light. Look that up. We have to get through the crossing point of light. And a fascinating thing I've heard is the only thing we know of at this point that can go faster than light is consciousness. Or if we go into the yogic concept, darkness, yin, that which holds everything, akasha, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I like to call it the 0 point.
That's a great one.
That's the stage where anything is possible, like before the Big Bang. It's
right, exactly.
There's nothing there, and bang, now there's everything. And that's also how I see heart-brain cohesion, is you're finding that stillness where you've got your visualization of what you want, you've got the emotional component coming from your heart. And if people don't know, you've got neurocells in your heart. So you've got cells that can think like your brain. Your brain has cells that mirror your experiences. So whether you watch something happen or you experience it, it can't make up its mind if it's real or not. So you experience it. Your imagination is the same. You can use coherent thought, thinking about what you want to see and feeling emotions as if it's already happened in order to make it happen. And I think some of those flashes that we've seen in the sky are the, hey, we're here. And a lot of us, when we go out in meditation, we're in that state of mind and heart, feeling joy and inviting. That's when we start seeing things, because now we've opened up ourselves to that frequency for it to happen. And I think the same with healing. When you're feeling for that person what they would feel like if they were healed, maybe it's also because you're clearing that negative energy. Think of it like a magnet with the poles of positive and negative. We're souring the milk for the negative energies by feeding positive, so we flip it so they can't be there. So it's all a frequency thing. And when you talk about dimensions, what if the dimensions themselves were a frequency like light waves we can only see in so many ranges? What if people are so sped up or so slowed down that they're not in our visual range, not in our consciousness range? But when we match frequencies, then you have an interaction, however briefly. It's just one of those wild thoughts that I've been working on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with everything she said. She's explaining it better than me. So.
Okay, so I know that you had experience with seeing orbs around you. Who creating these orbs? Your mind, the human mind, or they're just outside of this world, or our reality?
That is a great question. Okay, why would it be an orb? Why would something take the shape of an orb? Now, in one of the best books that I don't have at the moment, they explain, I think it's the Ghost Hunter Survival Guide or something, that in nature, a sphere is one of the simplest shapes something can take when it comes into our reality. It's a very primal shape. It's a very simple shape. So I personally don't like a true. Yes, the human mind is capable of creating phenomena that can look like orbs. But if you're on a haunted investigation, oftentimes these orbs are simply the first form that the manifestation will take prior to shifting to a different form. So it might start as a light orb, then it might grow into what's called an apparition, which is the outline of a person. Now, both human spirits and inhuman negative parasites can do this to a degree. In my report, you see I've included images of both a human spirit apparition and a negative entity apparition. So if anyone wants that report, just reach out to the email I provided earlier, and I'd be happy to send it to you. There is some pretty intense evidence in there, so prepare yourself for that. But I think what orbs are the first form of manifestation prior to further communication.
Because Costa and Stephen Greer and many other people who is doing this C5 protocols for communication, telepathic communication with another entities from somewhere, they also observe orbs.
Yes.
So what is the connection between the orbs during this meditation for C5 and orbs you can see during your paranormal investigations?
I love this discussion. We're going down some great areas. Okay, so I've I was built for this. All right, the interview. The experience. Of seeing an orb in the sky, and the experience of seeing an orb in a haunted house. The connection there is what we were talking about earlier, the quantum field. When something comes through the quantum field, be it an inhuman negative parasite, a human spirit not ready to pass over, or a higher civilization of whatever kind, they all have to pass through what Buddy calls the Lyman, the maybe Kat will know a better word for this, but there's a quantum space that everything crosses through when they come through the dimensions, the crossing point of light. And and like I said, the circular form is a very common form in nature. It's equal on all sides, it's holistic, cohesive unto itself. And what we're seeing when we see these orbs in the sky is these advanced civilizations coming through in the same way that we see on a lower level these more mundial, earthly beings coming through. We're all using the same interface. It all has to do with that quantum acausal 0 point energy. Everything's coming through that 0 point concept. And I don't know if Kat would have anything to say on this, or explain it better than I do.
Well, I think you might want to go back to the vision of a magnet or the earth, where you've got the flow of energy going around it, and it's very circular. You've got positive and negative ions, or whatever they would be called, circulating. It's the same thing within our body. It's the same thing in space. And if everything is made of light and there's these polarities, even down to atoms, I think this is the same thing represented as above, so below, from the micro to the macro. And if everything's made of light, maybe that's the most cohesive state that we can be in if we don't have a physical body, what I like to call the meat suit that we're walking around in. So I think a lot of what we see are the consciousness of other beings, whether they're humans or otherwise. Maybe all of us, everything is made of this light, and that's our natural state when not in a physical form. So that's the easiest way to be seen, perhaps, because it's a light wave or a particle, depending on if you're paying attention or not, as they did in the double slit experiment. So this is what we perceive are these light forms. And I think that in our states of meditation, or when you do an out-of-body trip, maybe Amon can speak about that, but this might be what leaves is our consciousness, and that's what's perceived by those who are in the right state of mind or in the right frequency to be able to perceive them.
Now, something came to my mind when I'm listening to you. There's a man, Ray Hernandez is his name, and he's the part of this research group for non-human intelligence. And he mentioned that when we're talking about ghosts, when we're talking about different kind of paranormal activities, psychic ability, remote viewing, or observing unknown aerial phenomena or something like this, he said all this stuff, we can say that this is one phenomena manifesting in different modality. What do you think about that?
You want to take this first?
I'm sorry?
Kat, do you want to take this one first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, well, I could throw a little bit out there, but multi-modalities of contact. So you might be contacted with something visual. You might be contacted through a dream. You might get sudden information, or what they call a download. And that's just different ways of getting to you. I mean, I have no idea what consciousness looks like, but we do know that it exists beyond the body. They've proven that with remote viewing. They've proven that through the meditation where they've had an effect on areas. It has a physical manifestation. And they've proven that with people who have had near-death experiences where they were pronounced dead, no brain waves, and yet they were brought back, or they came back spontaneously and were able to describe things that were happening around them. So why couldn't some other being find a way to access us, to contact us in a way that makes sense to us, or at least gets our attention? And then from there, maybe they could do more. Instead of throwing a glass across the room, Maybe it's an idea or a song that pops into your head and it spurs on a new thought. Just like you have when we're talking, we're creating new ideas that pop into your head through sharing these ideas. That telepathic communication may be the way that they get through to us.
You guys still there?
Yep. Are we frozen?
Okay. I think he might be. Oh, can you hear me, Ivan?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, sorry. I had a glitch on my computer. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with everything Kat said. You're talking about how everything is a manifestation of the same different modalities manifesting through the same mechanism.
I mean, it's one phenomena, but manifesting in different modality or by different ways.
So I think my personal approach on that would be, in my experience, the phenomena can be very different to the point where you can literally classify and categorize them and write entire essays on individual types of phenomena. So I'm not sure I think they're the same thing. I think they're using the same mechanism. So I think, let's say, for instance, something happened where someone passed away and they want to communicate. They will use the same mechanism to communicate that an advanced civilization would, or that an astral parasite of some kind would, because it's kind of like we're all swimming in the same ocean, it seems like.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in order for something non-physical to interact with something physical, it seems like there are natural or universal laws at play that maybe we don't fully understand yet. In the same way, a couple hundred years ago, this right here would be magic. Straight up magic. Like looking into a magic mirror and talking to someone. So in the same way that a couple hundred years ago, this is magic, maybe there are yet to be discovered laws of physics that regulate the interaction between the physical side of the universe and the non-physical.
Or maybe me, you, Kat, and all of these people, they can be called witches or wizards, and maybe will be burned in the hell.
Hey, according to some people, it might have already happened. So, like, we don't need to go into, like, the reincarnation past life thing. But, I mean, we're joking, but unfortunately, in some parts of the world, that persecution is all too real. People are not free everywhere to explore this. And, you know, you joke about the witch burnings, but we can still burn witches in our minds, you know, by judging people,
yes,
by condemning people, you know?
Oh, that's a really good point, Amon. You know, our words, thoughts, and our intentions are so important. And rather than judging, maybe just look at people and they're having an experience and so are we. We may not like it. We can't change what that person's doing, but we can change how we react to it. And I think right now, this world needs to calm down and start. You know, you can't change the world until you change yourself. It's the only way to start. There's some pretty good music about that. Michael Jackson comes to mind right now. Take a look in the mirror if you want to make
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
All right, I'm on. Get away.
Change his ways. Right.
Nice, that was nice. All right, we almost finished the time with talking. Sure. I mean, we can talk for many more hours, but we can schedule another meeting sometime in the close future. What will be your final words to people in Bulgaria and all over the world who is watching that video?
I gave a lot of thought to this. If you are experiencing unwanted paranormal activity of any kind, do this with me right now. Close your eyes. Focus on your heart and bring to mind a moment of love. And from that place, see yourself surrounded in a halo of brilliant, bright white light. And let's just breathe that light in together 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And in your mind's eye, see that light flowing from your crown, the top of your head, into your heart, and out into the palms of your hands. condense that light into a ball in the palms of your hands. Relax the hands. You'll be able to feel it in a moment. And if there's a negative paranormal force oppressing, you just project that light in the direction of the force and say, "Be gone."
Be gone.
There you go. Nice. We have to put that emotional intensity into it.
Yeah.
And so, guys, if you're experiencing negative paranormal phenomena, just rewind this video and repeat that process until it stops, and then send me an email at ab42berry42@gmail.com, and I'll give you a hand. I'll help you out. And I guess the most important thing, the message I want to deliver, is that we don't have to be a victim to negative paranormal forces. We can take our power back, we can focus on love and light, and we can make that our reality in the world. And I guess I can leave it at that.
Amen to that, Aman. Amen, Aman.
Kat?
I think the strongest force in the world is love, one of the most positive emotions that you could generate. That and gratitude and appreciation. And if you can hold that in your heart as if it was a light and then blast it out to everybody else, we can solve all the problems in the world. And the more of us who do this, the better it will be for everybody. So to our friends here in America, I love you and I thank you for having us into your homes today, and for you in Bulgaria, Obichapte.
Nice. I don't have that.
Obichapte means I love you, and this is in Bulgarian.
Ivan is speaking.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, to have you in this show, and it was a pleasure and blessing for all of us who are watching that, or who have open mind, and we have questions, and we looking for all these answers. Thank you very much again. Be strong, be safe, be healthy. Obichapte, I love you. Ich liebe dich von ganzem Herzen. Je t'aime.
And we're off the rails.
Namaste. Bye-bye.
Namaste. Goodbye. It was blessings to Bulgaria and all the people in Europe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.